Hello, you guys, and welcome to the Women's Cave. Yes, Winona left me all alone, so you're only stuck with boring Jade. I'm sorry. Let me apologize in advance. Oh, wait, Winona might make it. Oh, she can't make it. It makes me sad. She was like, maybe I'll be here in 5 minutes, and no, it's not going to happen. So we'll see, though. She might be coming in and making it fun. As you know, we are, well, I guess it's not we, it's just me, but Winona's normally here, are the authors of the Anti-Thought series and the Misfit Guide. So, and I Thought Divorce Was Bad with Other Life Lessons and all the other titles, you guys. You just going down to andwethought.com and just check them out. Books, go on the book thing, check them out. They're right on the front page. Also, go to the ladies tab while you're at andwethought.com and go to the middle of the page and check out the charities that we proudly support. And hopefully you guys will support them also. I mean, not only through money, but if you can volunteer time or skills or whatever, that's awesome too. I mean, check them out on LinkedIn and stuff, and you can ask them how they need help. If you're like I know for sure if you're an accountant, they need a little help on that. So that would be exciting. Let's see. Yeah, so Winona would have all the good news and stuff that we have coming. Oh, our audiobook is live, you guys. We actually have an audiobook, which is amazing. I mean, I don't know who's going to listen to that poetry, but yay if you do. Thank you. All right. And so all of that is available on andwethought.com, amazon.com, and barnesandnoble.com. Yeah, all our books are there too. So we have a wonderful guest. Actually, I have a wonderful guest because Winona's not here, so now I sound a little crazy when I keep saying we. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Dr. Diane Hamilton. It's so nice to be here. Let's see, there's a lot of things I do. I have a nationally syndicated radio show, so I do videos kind of like what you're doing here, and also a radio show. But I'm also an author, a speaker, a consultant, and I deal with behavioral issues in the workplace in terms of things like emotional intelligence and lately curiosity, because I've written a book called Cracking the Curiosity Code, and that's going to be available at the end of 2018. And I deal with the issues of what impacts curiosity in workers and individuals in general. And I created the Curiosity Code Index, which is an assessment to determine your level of curiosity and things that impact it based on 4 factors, which are fear, assumptions, technology, and environment. So that's what I've been working on. And I think there's so many people that could use some help with curiosity to improve behavior in the workplace.
Well, see, this is amazing. It would be the day that I only had 1 cup of coffee that we would have like such a educated person on. It really makes me sad. And now I'm like, why didn't I have 2 cups of coffee so I could be fully awake?
Well, I'm curious who you have otherwise. I saw some of your other shows. You have some pretty amazing guests. So.
Yeah, always. But you see, the thing is that normally I have 2 cups of coffee, but I don't know what's going on. This week has been a week. So
I hear you.
So let's talk about curiosity. That's a really interesting topic. Like, what caused you to write this book?
You know, I've taught more than 1,000 business courses, and I saw so many students who really lacked curiosity. They wanted to just get through school. They really didn't want to pursue things any further than just the topic at hand. And then I was interviewing so many billionaires and geniuses on my show, and I was looking at why aren't these students doing what these people are doing? And it all boiled down to curiosity. You look at what the top leaders, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, what they talk about, what makes them different. It's their level of curiosity. They want to figure out why and how to fix it and be innovative. So my thought is now with emotional intelligence being such a popular topic, I was very much interested in that because I wrote my doctoral dissertation on it. But I also think that the next level of what people are going to be talking about is more innovation and what can we do to get more artificial intelligence going and different things in the workplace. And to me, that all comes back down to curiosity. If you're not asking questions, trying to figure out what's broken, trying not to figure out how to fix it, you're not going to be innovative and you're not going to be as successful.
Absolutely. I mean, I can see why Winona reached out to you because that's her life. Like I am just the quintessential reader / writer. Like, okay, life is good. We're just going to write these books. We're just going to read these books. stay in my home, gonna eat badly and do my exercise or whatever. And that's what I'm doing. Like, that's my life. And Winona's like, how can it be better? Or this is very interesting. I want to know more. And so she is the innovator of the two of us. But
I'll ask you, because this is kind of what the assessment assesses. Do you think, what holds you back from being curious? Is it more fear of failure, assuming you're not going to be interested in a topic, or it's going to be boring, or it's going to be too hard or something? Or is it technology that maybe something does it for you, you don't want to have to figure it out, or it's technology is too complicated to figure out? Or is it environment? Maybe your family, everybody didn't expect this, they only expected this, or teachers didn't have time to teach certain things. I'm just curious if there's anything that holds you back from being curious.
No, actually, it's really interesting because my family is definitely one of those people that does not accept the status quo. They're like, no, it doesn't mean that you can't.
Right.
Maybe you don't want to, but it doesn't mean you can't. Whatever it is, because I have dyslexia, right? So my mom always told me, it doesn't matter. Okay, you have dyslexia, that's great. That now you make sure you get your books earlier than everyone else. You can start reading them earlier. So when the class gets there, you've already read it. So you're good. You're good, you're not behind. So, I mean.
Yeah, well, you know, your mom.
It's a stepping stone and not a stumbling block to my family. So that's not, I think it's more that Winona and I have been good friends for forever, and she's always been the curious one. Like, she's always been the one, the go-getter, and I've always been the one that's like does the plan behind it. That's all. I think that's what it is. I mean, understand, I was hired sign language interpreter, so I was curious about that. Like, I love sign language, I still do. But I think
you like what? Who you like?
For the deaf, sign language.
Oh.
ASL. I am
sign language. Yeah.
I'm a retired ASL interpreter, so that's
that's you know, well, it's interesting that you brought up the dyslexia thing, because in my research I found that some of the best minds, the ones that do the most incredible work and are the most curious, are those who have dyslexia. And Jay Samit was on my show, and he wrote Disrupt You. It's a great book. If you ever get a chance to read it, he discusses a little bit about that. And he was dyslexic. And because he was dyslexic, he had to learn to do things in a different way in school, because he couldn't really read as fast and do the things. So he became more of a leader to get other people on the team to do things for him. And, you know, you never know what thing you might think is something that might hold you back, but actually something that propels you ahead.
I mean, I agree with about dyslexia. I mean, it totally makes you see the world a different way, because you know what's going to happen. You know what you're like, okay, I have dyslexia, so let me do this, this, and this. And it does make you see the world in a different way. It's really funny, actually. My husband, I am married, and my husband, I told him, oh, I have dyslexia. And he was like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You are the girl that reads like 15 books in a week. And like, you are the quintessential, like, no, you don't. And I said, I do. But you can't see it until I get really, really tired. And this one day we were driving back, and it was late at night. And I went to like read a sign, and I said what I saw. And my husband was like, it doesn't say that at all. And I was like, I told you I'm dyslexic. I told you. It comes out when I'm really tired, because you learn those tricks and those trades. But we're not here to talk about me. Why am I talking about me? What are you talking?
Because you're interesting. I'm curious.
I mean, it is my show, but it's not my
show. Well, I think that, you know, it's funny when you do a radio show with someone who does a radio show, you get used to asking the questions sometimes, you know what I mean? And I think that's probably
this way. It always does. We're like talking about it. We're like, wait, this is not about me and my life. This is my guests in their life.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, one thing that I learned from doing this radio show was just, you know, all the questions you ask and all the things that you learn, you think, what can I do with all this great content other than it's out there? And sometimes people don't have time to go through your entire radio show or your, you know, everything that you do. And even though my show is transcribed and you can read it, if you don't want to listen to it, you have a choice of different ways of obtaining it. There's still a ton of content, because I mean, hundreds of interviews on my site. So what I did in the book is I took some of the best comments about curiosity and success, and incorporated it, because I think, you know, you can miss a lot of really great things if you're not specifically looking for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's very interesting because I think that most entrepreneurs and people that go out and do things are curious, or they're curious because something's not working for them and they want to fix it. They want to fix it. And then after they fix it, they're like, wait, I can maybe fix somebody else's something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because, you know, this book's for me, so let me tell you. And you mentioned that you taught over 1,000 classes on business.
Yeah. Yeah. I was the MBA program chair at the Forbes School of Business, but I've also taught for about 10 different universities, and I'll teach for multiple universities at the same time. I teach a lot of online courses, and you can teach more courses that way.
Absolutely.
But, I teach all business related courses, but I've been doing it for more than a decade. I mean, a long time. And it's a really fascinating thing to be able to teach online, because I teach everything from HR to marketing to leadership, different issues, even technology-based issues. And I've been able to create curriculum and develop courses. And so I really kind of have a real strong idea of what, you know, the colleges are teaching, and also what organizations are looking for. And so that was another reason that made me interested in writing about these topics, because I've written books in the past. One of my older books is It's Not You, It's Your Personality is the name of it. And it's all about personality assessments. And
that too.
What's that?
I understand that too. In fact, now I'm going to tell a story that's crazy. But yeah, this one time I went into a store and someone wanted to hire me because they're like, your personality, you make people want to talk to you, and you'll be a really good salesman. So I can understand how you talk about my personality too. And that kind of goes into curiosity. I like how you kind of tie all your stuff together. It's nice.
Yeah, you know, and you would make a really good salesperson. I was in sales for decades, and there's a certain personality that fits. You know, I'm certified to give an emotional intelligence test and Myers-Briggs test and different personality tests. And, you know, I've worked in companies where they gave you different personality tests, maybe management by strengths or DISC or different ones. And so I wrote about those in that book. And that's what led really to me wanting to create this Curiosity Code Index, which was a really complicated thing to do. I mean, it's one thing to get certified in somebody else's assessment, but to create your own from scratch, to make it valid and go through I had to learn so much statistical analysis to make sure it was valid. And I hadn't done that in a long time. You know, I took statistics in my bachelor's, my master's, and my PhD courses. But when you're actually creating something like that, you have to make sure that your questions are really valid. And you know, you want to put a lot of effort into it. So it took a long time, got it perfect. I'm really excited for it to launch at the end of the year. And but you can sign up to find out whether the book or the assessment, when it's coming out, on my site at curiositycode.com. And even if it's not available yet, when you sign up, it'll notify you when it is. So it's really exciting, because it's something there's nothing like it out there. There's measurements to determine if you're curious, and you know, but this is different because it's not telling you whether you're curious. It's telling you how much does fear impact your curiosity? How much does your assumptions impact your curiosity? How much does technology and environment and the different factors, which I created the acronym FATE for fear, assumptions, technology, and environment. How much does FATE impact whether you're going to be curious or not?
I like how you said that. I like how you use that as a...
Yeah. So what it does is you get your level, and then you get an idea for each of the issues that maybe you that hold you back a little bit or impact you to some extent. It gives you feedback. What could you do? What to help improve in this area? And then you create a strategy, an action plan to move forward. So it's my goal for all organizations. I mean, HR professionals, consultants who give personality tests, all of them should read this, because it's something that I think is like an emotional intelligence test, that it's something that we really need in the workplace, because we're going to lose so many jobs due to artificial intelligence. And if we're not, you know, if the simplistic jobs that maybe you don't need as much training and as much things to do, get removed, you know, get replaced by artificial intelligence, we're going to need to get more developed in our skill level, right? To do the complicated tasks
Absolutely.
in more depth. And to do that, you really have to develop your sense of curiosity.
Yeah, you do. You
Mhm.
absolutely do, because you have to want to do more.
Right. And you have to find out what those things are that you like.
Winona, is that you? Hello. The narcissism is here.
Hello.
Like I'm gonna miss meeting a doctor that's prettier than me. It just
I don't think so. That would be hard to do.
Oh no, it's really
nah.
fun.
You just have to wake up in the morning. You're good.
So we were talking about the
Wow. Boy, are you not right on that one. But it's nice to meet you.
Same here. I'm sorry. I jumped in and I'm ruining stuff. You were talking about curiosity.
Yes.
Jade, you don't have a long lipstick. I'm sorry.
I know, I don't. I was drinking coffee in a Harry and forgot to put it back on, but you know.
Well, you look good without it. But
Thank
no,
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We were talking about curiosity, and in my book that I wrote about things that impact curiosity, which are fear, assumptions, technology, and environment. So
You came to fix my set. Thank you, Winona. Thank you. I saw it.
Is that your most recent book?
Yes. It's the Misfit Guys,
Congratulations.
cocktail soirees in the LBD. Little black dress.
It's a book for curiosity.
No, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Well, I'm curious. How long have you been doing this show?
Let's see, 2 years.
2 years in January.
And some change.
No, 2 years in January.
Well, 2 years in January. Yeah.
So I hear you're more of the curious one, and we were talking about things that hold people back from being curious, and I created an assessment to measure the things that impact curiosity. So I imagine you look for people for your show who are curious, because they make really more interesting guests, right? If you find somebody that wants to determine different factors. And I think it's the same thing in the workplace. You really want to hire people who have that natural instinct to try and go above and beyond in whatever area, you know, even if it's just in their one specific realm that they deal with.
Exactly. And I think, like, for curious people, the really fun part is that even if it is just in one realm, at some point their curiosity has given them knowledge in some other area. Because speaking as a curious person myself, I'm never quite satisfied with one area. I mean, I'm working on my third degree, right? So it's
you're working on your third?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, biology, business, and creative writing. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's an interesting combination.
Right? You just can't be happy with like one thing. I need to know a little bit more about the world. So I think that gives them an opportunity to offer you more, because they have a little bit of knowledge, like jack of all trades and master of none. Well, actually master of one, jack of all trades.
Well, I like to see a lot of just interest. If you think about what made people like Steve Jobs successful, I mean, if you look at his background when he was in college, what he did, he just would drop in on different courses to learn different things. If he hadn't dropped in on the calligraphy course, we wouldn't have the fonts we have right now. That totally changed why Apple was successful, just because he was curious to find out about calligraphy. So you just don't know what the next thing is going to be created just because you follow your natural sense of curiosity.
Exactly.
Now I'm going to say, it's not that I'm not a curious person. I like to read about everything. So give me a book, I will read it. I will read about everything. Don't I read about everything? I was like talking to lawyers when I was 14 years old because I just read John Grisham so much. I was like, oh, is this what you mean by that? Because John Grisham wrote on page 225 that he was saying that what you mean by that? That's amazing.
Well, it's hard not to like John Grisham. I'm with you on that one.
It's so incredibly hard. And John Grisham, if you're out there listening, Jade would love to meet you. Love.
I'm still going for.
I don't know, but Jade would love to meet you.
Oh my goodness! Like we have a friend of ours,
Nicholas Sparks.
Nicholas Sparks. I hear he has great pecs and great biceps. I'd like to meet you.
Putting out requests, huh?
Love to meet you.
I can't.
Anyway, can you tell us what else do we want in a good workforce for let's say entrepreneurs besides curiosity?
Small business owners.
What else do we need for what? Can you repeat that?
So it's like small business owners, what should we be looking for when we are hiring people as in curiosity and personality?
Well, I think, a lot depends on the job. A lot of companies give personality assessments. That's why I created this one. A lot of people want to have curious people. So you can give them something like the CCI for curiosity. You could give them an emotional intelligence test like the EQI to determine if they have a high level of emotional intelligence, which is, like I said, I wrote my dissertation on emotional intelligence, which is so important. And we were talking about sales earlier, and I actually researched it in sales and sales performance. And it's just such a huge topic. And I just fell into that by accident. Actually, when I was doing my doctoral research, I wanted to see what impacted sales performance, and found this little thing called emotional intelligence long time ago, right before everybody was really talking so much about it. And Daniel Goleman had already written his book that was just so amazing, and why EQ is more important possibly than IQ, right? So I did a lot of research and found that that's a huge factor, because if you're thinking of who you're hiring, people are hired for their hard skills or their knowledge, but they're fired for their behaviors, right? So you can teach them that knowledge. You can teach them what they need to do on the job. So to me, I'd be looking more for those soft skills. Are there interpersonal skills? Are they able to communicate? Are they able to get along well with others? How do they play well in teams? You know what I mean? Things like that. You need to know how effective they are at critical thinking, at developing ideas. And to me, curiosity, it's huge. If they have that, that you can maybe cross-train them in different areas, that they're not just going to shut down and say, oh, I only want to do this, and that's it.
Okay. I love that. I'm sorry. I was just taking my economics class, and we were just talking about that. About the hardest thing. Like, yeah. I bounce. I'm literally taking like the last like master's thing of my creative writing while taking my economics and accounting classes.
Yeah. I'm only laughing because Winona's brain works like that.
So that's great that you continue to develop your sense of education, because I really think even if you can't afford or don't want to do it formally, there's so much online material. Like when I was talking about developing my curiosity code assessment, I was looking at just refreshing my skills on how to do factor analysis and statistics, and I remember how awful it was taking it in school. Statistics is awful, right?
Yeah.
So the worst, right? So, but when I was fresh, trying to remember how to do a certain test, you go to YouTube, you can find anything on there. You can learn anything anymore. So if you're curious to learn, I mean, you got to make sure you find the right stuff, that they're teaching you the correct way. But, there's a lot of really great ways to learn things. And it's interesting that you'd be talking about that in an economics course. Because, if business courses cross over so many, had mentioned, I think before you came on, that I taught more than 1,000 business courses. And because of that, they all kind of cross over. When I ran the MBA program at Forbes, I had to look at each course to make sure they all like scaffolded, which is a term, one thing stacks on another, you learn this and then you learn that because of that. And each of them kind of pull from each class. You learn this over here and this is how you can use it over there. And I think that's another part of curiosity. If you learn this, then, this can be extrapolated over here. And isn't that cool,
Okay, the reason we were talking about, I'm sorry, I just went back.
Yeah, I think it's very cool.
You were saying, I think that's amazingly cool. But I was like, the reason that we were even talking, you said you were talking about it in the economics class, is because she has a PhD in economic theory.
Oh.
Like economic anthropology kind of theory stuff. And actual like applied economics. So anyway, her whole thing is about emotional intelligence, soft skills, and decision making within economics. And so I'm kind of happy to have that professor. But she was saying that for your soft skills, those are more important than, let's say, your hard math skills, because when someone has an aptitude to be emotionally alert, they are more likely to be able to learn something or be accepting or receiving of that information than someone who always has a high IQ, because they already assume. But anyway, because of these things, it's easier for you to transfer the most expensive thing, which is, of course, human labor, your HR department, pretty much, your employees, and make them better, and then move on to a higher technological or more advanced system to do stuff to make a bigger profit. When you said that, I was like, oh, she wasn't just BSing me. I was like, I don't get it. That's for the test? Okay.
Well, anytime you combine psychology into business courses, I love it. I mean, that is a great combination, because if you just look at the hard skills, you're going to have the Sheldon Coopers from Big Bang Theory of the world that have a high EQ. I don't know if you know that show, but he has a high EQ, but a high IQ, but he has a low EQ. And you have to work on both in the business world, obviously, depending on the job. And there's a lot of interpersonal relationships now with millennials and boomers and all these generations in the workplace. You have to have a strong level of empathy to get along with other people and be able to put yourself in their shoes. And empathy is a huge part of emotional intelligence.
It really is. And you guys, we have
overtime.
Majorly overtime. And she's busy. She has stuff to do.
She's a doctor. Of course she has stuff to do.
So
if anything else, she just has to sit and look cute. There you go.
I'm in that wondrul library, but like I'm over here like I want to be where she is. Like I just want to book off the shelf and start reading them.
I have so many of my guests send me their books, and it's so great. And a lot of them are books from the courses I teach. So that's like a Barnes and Noble around here. I mean, it's seriously, if you see my house, it's crazy.
When I saw you where you were sitting, I was like, I just want her to know that I love her very much, but I'm really like books. That's all I thought was books.
Well, if you see something you like, let me know.
Yeah, right here on the corner. If you could just ship that over.
The whole thing, just ship it.
Also, where can people check you out online? And then what's next? So,
at my book, which is Cracking the Curiosity Code, and along with the Curiosity Code Index, which is the personality test that determines whether what things impact curiosity, should launch towards the end of this year, 2018. But you can sign up at curiositycode.com to get notified of when it's available. And all my books will be available on my site, which is drdianehamilton.com. And you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything at drdianehamilton.com, or just Dr. Diane Hamilton, I guess, for those. But yeah, I'm just about everywhere if you just search for my name.
Honestly, every time you say your name, I'm like, yeah, it just feels like you're going to be like the Dr. Oz of business. Like you're
well, it feels like, I've done so many hundreds of interviews, and it every time I interview a billionaire or Steve Forbes and great people on my show, I feel like they make me a lot brighter than what I even learned in my education, because they just share so much great knowledge. So that's a different degree I'm getting, I guess, the degree of reality.
Application.
Application.
I think that's
right.
Real life experience.
Yes.
Okay, so we're supposed to be wrapping up. We're supposed to be wrapping up, Winona. Thank you, latecomer, and now you're making me go. I want to let you know. I only say it because I love you.
Head and shame.
Yeah, right. Head and shame. Yeah, right.
Well, I'm so glad you were able to join it, because this was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Thank you for coming, and I guess we should wrap up. So we are the two of the ladies, and I thought. Ladies, Winona, not Winona. I
was like,
and Jade. I know. Wow. See, second cup of coffee. I need it. And you can check out everything that we're doing. What?
It's your third cup.
My third cup? Okay, whatever. Fine. Be technical.
You can find everything we're doing.
You can find everything that we're doing on andwethought.com. Not andwethought, andwethought.com. And just remember, you guys know, Winona, you're late. You're late. You have to be humble today.
Did you say just like at the beginning?
I said everything that we're doing. Everything. On andwethought.com. Okay? And just remember that wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona, who's getting her nails done today because she's going to a magazine launch party.
And Jade. Also check out Just Writing Life. Bye-bye.